Testing. You wonder where I've been. Yeah, I'm definitely not allowed to sing that. Is this thing working? Hello everyone, welcome back slash hi, I am back. Michelle here, and I am returning from my YouTube hiatus. If you followed along with me before, you knew that this year I started my YouTube channel and I was posting pretty regularly for a couple months, 2 or 3 months or so, and then life kind of got the best of me and I had to take a break and I had to focus on myself, my work, my customers, and yeah. I am making my return just in time to fill you back in on everything that you've missed slash everything that I've neglected to share for you. And hopefully we can do a nice little quick 2023 recap and I can tell you what I've been up to. We've upgraded in a few different ways in our life. We invested in a PC, so a new computer desktop that has a lot more storage and speed capabilities for editing. And we also just got a new camera for Christmas. Thank you to my parents. We expect that this is going to really help with our content creation. We're going to be going on our honeymoon soon in Vietnam, and we're planning on taking the Pocket 3 with us and documenting almost all the trip, honestly, because we want to be able to look back and remember it. But let's get started. I'm going to start off at the beginning of the year, pretty much in January, and just go throughout. Started the year off strong with a pretty big wholesale order for the Philadelphia Museum of Art. I do think I had a video previously about this, but they were doing a collection for their Matisse show. So they asked me to make custom Matisse looking hairpins as well as stick pins, and I think that they turned out really nice. This was definitely one of my bigger orders for them. They placed orders with me here and there. It definitely fizzled out this year because I kind of slowed down with wholesale orders, but this was really special for me to have Matisse inspired pieces in the Philadelphia Museum of Art while Matisse was literally being shown in the building. January always goes by really quickly, and at the end of January I started drafting up a custom design, kind of finalize the price, etc. And that is the sketch from it. In February, to continue on with the kind of monthly shop updates that I usually have, as well as document it and show it to you, I think I made a video on this also. I made a large collection of etched pieces that were earrings, necklaces. Some of them were in copper, some of them were in bronze, and I also got some of them gold plated. I thought that they turned out really nice. I think that was my last big batch of etched pieces I've made because I still have some of the pieces around. And in 2022, at the end of the year, I actually got an iPad, which at the beginning of 2023, I tried to pretty much teach myself how to use Procreate. I watched a ton of YouTube videos. I'll link some of them here. But I essentially taught myself and did my best to do a couple portraits at the beginning of the year in Procreate, and I really enjoyed kind of doing this sort of two-dimensional drawing, and it actually did help me with developing my own designs and feeling a little bit less precious about sketching stuff in a sketchbook, because with Procreate you can obviously try as many times as you want, have as many layers, delete, like undo, and everything's so easy. Whereas when you sketch in a sketchbook, sometimes you feel precious about those pages and, I don't know, not as skilled when it comes to drawing. Not gonna lie, I got pretty carried away at the beginning of the year playing around on Procreate. I was also able to make my thumbnails for YouTube a little bit more unique by adding kind of this drawn sort of textural style on top of my thumbnail picture, which a lot of other YouTubers do. My first really big project I did with Procreate was design our save the dates, which definitely took me way too much time, but I love how they turned out. And it's essentially a portrait of each of us, our cats, and all of our favorite things. And on the back side of it, it had the information about when and where to save the date for. So Yeah, custom invitations. They're a thing, and I offer them actually in my shop, so check them out if you're interested. At the end of February, Dreyer and I got a little bit too ambitious, and we did attempt to revisit the RV and try to work on it. We even filmed a little bit of content because we are trying to start that YouTube channel that documents kind of our travels, our dreamstead, I guess we're calling it, because we want to have a homestead and it's our dream. But we are overwhelmed with that. It's definitely a huge project that we are going to be tackling next year, but stay tuned. We're not selling it, we're keeping it, and we don't want you to ask us about it. We also, at the end of February, got a sewing machine. You may have seen my video where I tried to alter some pants. I tried to do some embroidery. That was a really fun purchase slash investment for us, but we have not really used it since. Admittedly, it kind of got stored away, and it feels like a little bit of a hassle to pull it out sometimes, but we're definitely gonna try to get back into it. I definitely want to make myself some more shirts. If you remember that one shirt I made this year, it was so fun to make, and I actually do wear it sometimes. But yeah, Dreyer was supposed to make a pair of pants, and he has not done that yet. And in attempts not to make this all about me creating artwork, I also wanted to include other ways in which I've been creative in my life, and that includes baking and cooking. If you don't know me, I am not a baker. I am a cook. I love to saute things. I love salty stuff. I love frying stuff. All of that domain, I love it. When it comes to baking, I can't quite be bothered to be so precise and follow the directions to a T, so I usually shy away from baking. But last year I wanted to surprise Dreyer for his birthday, so I made him from scratch this birthday cake. I was kind of going for like, you know, lush Garden of Eden slash, I don't even know, nature. And it was like a dark chocolate cake, and it tasted amazing. And then throughout March, I just kind of worked on more wholesale orders, projects. I tried my best to dabble with some more unique stone setting designs, and I also made that video where I made my own stones out of resin. Remember the flowers and resin, and then I set those stones in sterling silver stone settings, which was not the easiest for me. They were not perfect, but I do like the organic kind of feel that they had when they were finished. And at the end of March, I launched one of my new products, this custom fingerprint ring. It has a very organic, kind of bumpy textural style to it, which I personally love. I've seen a lot of fingerprint style rings on the internet. They're honestly trending right now, but this is my version of it, and I feel like it adds some sort of extra organic element to it. I also was able to finish up that black diamond piece that I was talking about earlier, and I think it turned out pretty well. I apologize that this is not the best photo of it, but yeah, you can see how I did a flush setting and somehow got that stone in there. It was not the easiest. And at the beginning of April, I once again tried to challenge myself with more stone setting. These stone settings I actually made in wax and then got cast into sterling silver. I actually don't get that many stone settings cast. I usually make them out of bezel wire. And then April 15th or so is when everything kind of hit the fan. I pretty much had a moment of mania, and I tore up our bathroom. Our one and only bathroom. Needless to say, my partner wasn't the happiest about it, but he's a trooper and accepted the challenge with me, and we pretty much spent the next 2 months or so, plus slash still working on the bathroom and renovating it from this ugly walk-in tub kind of situation to a beautiful shower situation. So yeah, there's a lot to say here. This has been a journey. This is pretty much when I fell off making my YouTube videos because life became way too much for me and I needed to focus on the projects that I had put on my plate. And although YouTube was one of those things, I realized it was pretty far down on the list. Like, getting a working bathroom with a toilet and a shower was pretty top priority for a couple months. And although the experience is not completely over because we're still doing the finishing touches and finishing the vanity, it was a really good learning experience, I guess. I almost feel like I blacked out. I feel like I don't remember all of the things I learned / taught myself through that, but I do know that there's a slope in my bathroom and that water is going where it should, and hopefully everything's watertight and I don't have to ever think about that bathroom again. And I actually cannot wait until I get to make a bathroom from scratch instead of having to retrofit and renovate an old home's bathroom. And then once again in May, I tried my best to come up with new stone setting designs, and I came up with this really pretty botanic earring, statement earring sort of thing. I ended up taking pre-orders for it and they were actually very popular. They also took me a very long time to make because I had to individually order all of the stones, hand cut all of those pieces out for the earrings, and then obviously set the stones, finish them. Some of them were to be gold plated, which took a minute, and yeah, it was a lot of work. And then shortly after I made that design, I also came up with this other design for pre-order, which was also kind of an asymmetric botanic earring. But this one didn't have stone setting in it, which was kind of nice because I was able to crank them out a little bit faster than I was the previous earrings. And yeah, after this, I don't know what happened. I got so busy with making these like custom etched homes that I offer. For some reason, all of them kind of were due at the same time, so I ended up cranking out a bunch of them. I really loved this row home style-esque one. It kind of had different floors that you could view into, but I liked the front facade and like the big bush that was on the side. I thought it just added something to it, and I feel like the patina on this one turned out really well. And then this one with a huge tree was actually in the works for a pretty long time. Thank you so much for the patience from that client. We did a lot of back and forth about what kind of things she wanted to include. This was actually her grandparents' house that they built from scratch, like from the ground up. And they wanted a way to commemorate it. So she asked me to recreate it in metal and include the huge tree in the front because when they were younger, they really enjoyed sitting in the front window and bird watching. So I included that little bird feeder in the tree too, as well as the swing in the carport. She said that her grandparents loved to sit there while the grandkids were outside. And talk about detail. This one had so much detail in it. I kind of regret not charging a little bit more for this one because it took so much time to get all of that brickwork on the front facade, as well as cut out all of the windows for it. So, and to round out those custom etch homes of the summer and the end of July, I finished with this other grow home style house that had a really interesting and ornate fence in the front that they wanted me to include there. And they had a bunch of different stories in the front. So it was a lot of front facade, and it was kind of weird to fit the insides because they didn't necessarily match up with the floors that were shown. But that's the fun part about making custom art, is that you can make it however you want. And on to August, where I once again challenged myself / probably should not have accepted this commission because this design was a little bit outside of my wheelhouse. They understood that I was going to be making it by hand and that it wouldn't be perfectly machined, but they asked me for a puzzle ring that like locks together but also can kind of come apart. And making this kind of hurt my brain, like really hurt my brain. It just didn't make sense to me, but once I got it to work and it fit together perfectly, I was like, I felt so accomplished. I could not believe I did it. and I got them cast into 14 karat gold, so they looked so pretty. And I really love how they turned out. One of them had a matte finish and the other ring had a polished finish, so that when they were put together they had a really nice contrast. And then on the inside they asked for some hand engraving, which I believe it said so much on one ring, and then the other ring I believe had their wedding date on it. And pretty much throughout August, I just kind of worked and did my best to fill orders. I think I had a couple wholesale orders during that time. And I was also just high-key panicking about my wedding. For those of you that don't know, I got engaged in 2022, and then we planned our wedding for October of 2023. So pretty much August up to October, I was a hot mess, and I was really stressed and was not really able to focus on any artwork slash content creation. I did, however, plan to fit in a little bit of fun with our batch day party. I designed this little invitation. We wanted to do a bar crawl as well as an archery experience. Flip that around. We wanted to do an archery experience followed with a bar crawl, and it was so much fun. We learned how to shoot archery. I'm actually pretty good. And then we pretty much drank our way from Center City back home. It was amazing. Yeah, I am glad that I managed to fit in some fun amidst the planning stress of the wedding. For said batch day, I ended up wearing these earrings that I originally made possibly for like a wedding bridal look, but they didn't make the cut, so I just wore them on our batch day party event. And speaking of wedding stuff, there's a few wedding rings that I was working on throughout the summer. Some of my friends, Maddie and Justin, got married and they shared this photo with me. I think their rings look amazing. I actually was so privileged to make all three of them. Last year I worked on the engagement ring with Justin, and then this year I was able to work pretty closely with them to make their wedding bands, and I love how they turned out, and I really loved working with them. And in September, I also managed to recreate this really, really difficult pair of earrings that I've made before. I had to painstakingly cut them out again and make all the stone settings and set all of the lapis, and yeah, they took a while, but I love how they look, and I hope that the person loves them too. All right, we are finally at the end of September, the true end of summer. We had a lot going on. Some of my other friends, Matt and Alyssa, were getting married, and I was also, once again, so honored, and I was able to make both of their wedding rings, her engagement ring, and she also commissioned me to make a set of bridesmaid earrings for her, which turned out amazing. To start, his ring was made out of 14 karat gold, and it has a carved rose on the top as well as her fingerprint on the inside. And then hers was specifically made in CAD so I could fit all of those stones and all of the details. And it has, I think, 3 different types of stones. It has white diamonds, champagne diamonds, and aquamarine. That one was designed in CAD, cast, stone set, and then on top of that she also wanted like a scroll like engraving around hers, kind of similar to my engagement ring, which I went to the same person who did my engagement rings engraving, and her name is Lisa. You can find her on Jewelers Row. But yeah, she did this amazing scroll work on the outside and made it look really floral and natural, as well as did the engraving of his fingerprint inside of the band of hers. I really, really love how the bridesmaid earrings turned out. They were just so dainty and delicate, and the way that the moonstone kind of like swung around when they danced at the wedding, it was perfect. And here at the end of September, I was still on my quest to design the perfect wedding earring, and I was obviously trying to go for something floral and botanic looking. So I made these earrings, and I didn't like how they didn't have really any movement, or I don't even know, kind of like dimension, I guess. So they did not make the cut either, but I thought that they looked really nice. This is me wearing them after I got my makeup trial done for my wedding, just trying to get, you know, the vibes. And finally, October is here. Started off the month with this really large facade of a house. This is larger than I usually do. I absolutely love how it turned out. The facade is amazing. There's so many plants. I love the negative space that the other plants kind of create in the windows with the cutouts, and yeah, it's a hanging piece. I hope that they love it as much as I do. And also at the beginning of October, I launched my merch, which, if you're not aware, I have some limited hoodies, shirts, prints, notebooks, cards, etc. If you've ever been curious of ways that you can support me other than just buying my jewelry and artwork, you can also buy my merch. And finally, like I said, the year has been consumed by my wedding, but specifically the month of October, I was like, all eyes on the prize. Weddings at the end of the month, let's go. So I made our wedding rings. I made Dreyer's ring, lost wax cast, my fingerprint all on the outside, my wedding ring with his fingerprints on it. The idea is to add stones to these little dots that I added every year that we're married, which I think is kind of sweet. So the idea is that it's like a living wedding ring that changes every year. I finally designed my dream wedding earrings, which ended up being these vase earrings that could hold real flowers. Yes, I said real flowers. It was perfect. I was able to put little flowers on my ears at the wedding. I also redesigned it as a pendant in case you're not the earring type. I was so happy when I finally designed the earring that I could wear for the wedding, because it had been something that I was stressing about for a long time, because being a jeweler who makes a lot of earrings, it just only makes sense that I would have an amazing bridal earring. But yeah, other than that, for the wedding, we also made our floral wine glass wedding favors, which I made out of resin and pressed flowers. I made our escort card names out of aluminum wire, which took a really long time because I had to do 114 of them. I made a lot of the designed print work. I did the invitations. I did the save the dates. I made Dreyer custom cufflinks, super last minute, just the really simple spirally cufflinks, but I feel like they kind of went along with the theme of like a fingerprint and the gold kind of color. I also did my own floral arrangements as well as my own bouquet for the wedding, along with the help of my sister-in-law. And oh yeah, we also made our own cake, our wedding cake. Which, if you're not a baker, like I said, I'm not really a baker, but I was like, wow, why not make your own wedding cake? But it was delicious. It was like a charred citrus sesame wedding cake that was a recipe that I found on New York Times from Natalie Pickowitz, and yeah, it turned out amazing. So believe in yourself. And then yeah, after our wedding, I pretty much feel like the rest of this year has been kind of a wash. Pretty much finished out the year trying to make some new designs. Made some sterling silver rings with hand carved details as well as moissanite stone settings. I also wanted to bring back the idea of this charm necklace, so I made a little charm necklace holder as well as some custom tiny charms. And I would say the last custom of the year were these gold fingerprint and dog nose print rings, which was really difficult to do because the person that I was trying to make them for lived in Hawaii. I got them made, modeled in wax, and then I got them cast in 14 karat gold, and I think they turned out really, really beautiful. I think that they're so special. One side of the rings has one dog nose print, and then they have another dog on the other side. So they have two dog noses on one ring, and then the other ring that's a little bit thicker actually has his thumbprint. It pretty much goes all the way around the ring, and thought it was really special, and I managed to get it to them before Christmas Day. So thumbs up for me. And one of my last projects of the year was, of course, Christmas gifts. I always struggle with what I should get my niece for Christmas. So this year I decided to make her a handmade charm bracelet. I used a lot of recycled sterling silver that I had, and I just kind of constructed this charm bracelet. And then I also included a little Q for her name, as well as a little fortune cookie, just so that she remembers her Aunt Michelle. But I hope to add to that every year, and hopefully we'll never be stumped for what to get her, because now it's like a given. I'm just gonna get her charms. And if you're watching this, I'm sorry, I hope you like the charms. Okay, everyone, I think that that is pretty much all that I have to share with you today about what I made in 2023. I need to go clear out my bathroom because, yeah, like I said, the bathroom's still not done yet. But next week is New Year's. I hope everyone has a great new year. Stay safe, stay warm. I'm not sure if this video is going to be coming out in 2023, but it was filmed in 2023, okay? So it's the thought that counts. Wow, I just realized that this microphone wasn't working the entire time, and I just do not have the will to reshoot any of that. So, oh well, you live and you learn. New camera, new microphone, whatever. But I hope everyone has an amazing new year, and I will see you in 2024. Bye! Like, is it working now?